Hi, this is Rick from For Community, creating community spaces so you can connect with others and also with God. It's the Christmas season and I love it so much. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm holding myself back to tell you all the stuff I'm doing to get ready for Christmas, but I'm one of those strange guys that gets ready for Christmas far too early. My Christmas tree has been up, I think, since November 1. I can't remember. It's usually up on October 31, which is kind of weird. And there are already Christmas presents under the tree. I have 4 kids. And when I was a younger parent and I just had my little guy, and I just had that one little guy walking through all the house trying to find where we hid the presents. If he ever found one of his Christmas presents, he would show it to me and he would say, this can't be a Christmas present anymore because I know what it is. And Christmas presents have to be surprises. So therefore, I should just keep this and you should get me a different one because it has to be a secret. And like a total doughhead and a noob of a dad, I completely fell into it. And I said, you're right, pal, you keep that one. I'll just go buy you another present. And so since then, I have been wrapping all of the presents early, and I hide those presents in plain sight, wrapped underneath the tree so that there's no accidents. And I don't have to go out and buy a lot more presents because I believe I would still get suckered in to that same argument. So that's my tradition. I put up my tree early and I put the presents under it early. What's your tradition? If you're watching with someone, consider pausing the video and talk amongst yourselves and share with each other what your favorite Christmas tradition is. The text we're looking at for this video is Luke chapter 2, verses 8 through 11, the first actual Christmas text in December for us. And in this text, we see the first announcement about the coming of Jesus, and we see the first group of people that were told about his coming. Very, very exciting time. Luke chapter 2, verses 8 through 11. That night there were shepherds staying in the fields nearby, guarding their flocks of sheep. Suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared among them, and the radiance of the Lord's glory surrounded them. They were terrified, but the angel reassured them. Don't be afraid, he said. I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all people. The Savior, yes, the Messiah, the Lord, has been born today in Bethlehem, the city of David, and you will recognize him by this sign. You will find a baby wrapped snugly in strips of cloth, lying in a manger.
Hey kids, don't forget to look in the background for all of the cool characters.
And remember to watch this week's episode of Connect HQ. Bye!
On the very first Christmas morning, the very first people to hear about Jesus was, well, Mary and Joseph. We can't forget about them. So the very second group of people to learn about the birth of Jesus was actually the shepherds. And they learned about Jesus' birth through angels. The biggest party on the planet happened among the lowliest of lowly group of people because Jesus was making a point that if Jesus is for anybody, he's got to be here for the least to the greatest. So his announcement of his birth started with the lowest of the lows to show that God is completely accessible to everyone, including you and including me. The angel's message to the shepherds is a really great summary for us too. And here's the message that I want to share with you about the text in this video. It's going to be okay. Man, I want to hear that message over and over and over again all the time. There are lots of reasons why things may not be okay. We're going to look at 2 of those reasons why things wouldn't be okay and what Jesus does to make it okay. Number 1, here's the very first reason why we know that things are going to be okay because of Christmas. Here it is. Jesus didn't come to judge you. And the text just makes the note here saying they were terrified. Man, I feel sorry for these guys out in the field, just minding their own business. Like nobody really likes them. They're kind of dirty. They're kind of grubby. They sleep with the sheep and the animals to fight off the bears and the wolves and lions and tigers and aliens and whatever else might be out there to steal the sheep. They're very valued because of the service they provide, but they're not valuable in terms of their personhood. People don't really like shepherds a whole lot. They love what they do. It's a very respectable business, but nobody's inviting a shepherd to their house for Christmas dinner. So they're sitting around a campfire, minding their own business, and suddenly this angel visitation comes, knocks them on their butts, and they're totally scared. And as if one angel wasn't scary enough, suddenly the whole sky lights up with many angels all having a party around the fact that Jesus has come. One of the reasons why people can dislike conversations around Jesus, around God, is because of ideas around judgment. And if there were anybody in the text afraid of judgment, it would probably be the very, very humble shepherds who knew that their life wasn't really going all that great. Most of us know that we're not perfect. And some of us expect some kind of big cosmic hammer to fall out of the sky and squish us because we think that God isn't happy with us. Jesus didn't come to make us afraid. He actually came to give us some peace around the whole idea of, is God mad at me or not? Well, the idea here that Jesus is conveying is he didn't come to judge. God really loves you. Because Jesus came, it's going to be okay. Jesus doesn't want to judge anyone. Instead, he wants to forgive everyone. If you choose to believe in him and you choose to follow him, it's going to be okay. You have no reason at all to fear God. Here's a second message that the angel gave the shepherds that you and I can get a little excited about to know that it's going to be okay. He came with good news. And the text just says it like this: I bring you good news. Now, this would have totally made sense to the shepherds, who, believe it or not, probably knew their Bibles, probably knew the Old Testament, because at this particular time, just to get a little into history, they were expecting somebody called the Messiah to show up and to make life better for all of the Jewish people. So when they heard the idea of the good news, they kind of had a clue that something from the Old Testament that was prophesied about is now coming true. This whole idea about good news comes out later in the gospel, just letting us know that Jesus has come not just for the Jews, not just for the shepherds, but for everybody on the planet to receive God's forgiveness and to have a really great friendship with him. Christmas is good news because Jesus came to be your friend. Just a moment ago, I was watching one of my daughters wrap a bunch of gifts for her cousins. My daughters love their cousins. It's a big girls' club. It's like my family is the only one to have a boy. Other than that, it's this huge girls' club, and they all love it. So one of my daughters up there wrapping gifts, and she's just so happy for the family that she has around her. It's really good news to her to know that she has so many girls and they're all her friend in her family. Well, guess what? That kind of good news is for you too. In another book, in the Gospel of John, in chapter 1:14, the text says, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us." That word idea, the reason, the rationale, the thought behind the why the world was created, it's Jesus. Jesus became flesh and made his dwelling among us. And John 1 verse 12 says, "To all who receive him, to those who believe in his name, he gives the right to become children of God." When you and I choose to believe in Jesus, we suddenly have many, many, many siblings. We come into a family with each other where God is our Father, where God is our best friend. The good news is this: choose Jesus, and you'll not only come into a friendship with God, you'll be considered part of God's personal family. That is awesome news. Jesus came with an offer of friendship and the gift of forgiveness. When we choose to believe in Jesus and to follow him, regardless of how your life turns out, it's still going to be okay. okay because you're a friend of God. And God's going to remember you for all of eternity as you experience that wonderful relationship with Him forever. Here's a summary. It's going to be okay. Everything we have ever done to break God's heart or just be generally bad, all of that can be forgiven. We can have friendship with God. We can become part of God's personal family. And that's going to happen because Jesus came. Christmas is this wonderful time of good news to say that God came personally to dwell among us to say, it's going to be okay. I love you, and I want you to be part of my family. That's it from me to you for now. Would you please like? Would you please share? Would you please subscribe? Would you please do all of that? Oh man, sharing would be so awesome because sharing gets the news out about these videos. Would you please also ask for the link? We meet on Zoom on Sundays, 2 times on Sundays so far, and I'd love to share that link with you so that you could be part of our discussions too. For community, creating community spaces so you can connect with others and also with God. Merry Christmas. See you next time.